focus on me. Baby, can you focus on me?
Hello, LGBTQ plus DL men, women who secretly love us and support us. And if you don't identify with any of those labels, you're still free to subscribe to the channel. So I had this really great idea, and I thought about pitching this idea in a different format without saying my intro, but I feel that it's a need to say it because it is authentic to my channel. And yeah, so this idea I have been thinking about for a while, and this idea, it could be very mainstream, and I've seen on Zeus Network where there have been a lot of well, not even just on the network, but there has been a lot of mentions that I have noticed on social media where beings have said that they wouldn't be in the spaces where Zeus is having certain things like the fight scenes and things like that. And I've noticed that some beings are like moving away from that space of being. Like, hold on. The girl Jayla from Baddie South, and then you have Vicky. You also have Black China, who's spoken about, well, not even spoken about, but started to make the changes to be more involved in spirituality and spiritual health, right? And so the pitch is a show that is surrounded around healing. And so I had the idea of naming it Spiritual Baddies, but I think that naming it that would only cater to like the word baddie, right, in itself is sort of seen as a feminine dominated experience on Zeus Network, but I think naming it the name that I have created, that I wouldn't share on this video, for the reason that anybody could watch this video and say, oh, that's a really good idea, so let's use that idea. And yeah. So I thought about even doing the idea for my own YouTube account, but currently I just the number of viewers aren't reflecting enough traffic to create that experience at the moment. Not saying that there wouldn't be, that amount on this YouTube account, but just right now it isn't reflecting the amount of viewers to create this this pitch for this series. And it would somewhat be a similar creation like Baddies and Bad Boys, but it would be more of a catering to spirituality. What I can say is that I've noticed that on the shows like Baddies West, Baddies South, Bad Boys, and things like that, they get their money from appearances and, club venues and things like that. I think with this pitch, and what we're going to call it for this video, is Spiritual Baddies for now, right? And also, the reason that I didn't want to use the word, the line Spiritual Baddies, is for the reason that there's this belief that words manifest what we want into our reality. So if we use baddie, like, it just represents something like spiritual and baddie together. Of course, people see it and they wouldn't think that it's something negative, but I think that it can have a negative connotation to it. So I have created a different name, but for this video we will say Spiritual Baddies, right? And yeah, So now I was speaking about the way that the money would be obtained for venues and shows like that. There are certain spiritual experiences where um, spiritual teachers have like these gatherings where people come forward and ask questions that are catered to life experiences. Um, a great example would be Eckhart Tolle, um, his wife Kim. I forget her last name. Uh, there are other spiritual beings who do these seminars where people come forward and they ask questions. I think that it would be a great idea for the show if there were venues where people would come to the spiritual baddie show, but again, it would be called something different. And they would come, and that's how they would get their money for their appearances. And I think that also with spirituality, that there are experiences where a person is learning something and there will be a different spiritual perception of what that person is learning. Like, say one person is spiritual, the other person is religious, and there's a difference, although there is this kind of knowing between the two beliefs that they are believing in something bigger than themselves. And I think that that would also create the attraction. Yet, for baddies and bad boys, that is what causes them to kind of have this disagreement within the shows that cause the arguments and things like that. But I think for this show, it would be more of a show that creates harmonious activity. But because there is this there can be a disagreements in beliefs that would be the equivalent to uh, the what do they call it, upheaval. It would be like the equivalent to the upheaval for the experience of the show, because some people are they're very attached to what they believe in, and they are most people are in this space of saying, oh well, I believe in this and this is the truth, versus what is actually the truth. But I think that it would be a great idea to have a show like this, because there are many people who, like Wo Vicky, right? Many of the cast members were saying, "Oh, she knew what she signed up for. She knew what type of show she was getting on. Well, why not create a show that is about healing, that is about um, harmonious balance and becoming aware of your true self and who you're meant to be." Um, it could also be a very teachable experience for people who don't understand spirituality, soulmates, twin flames, and things like that. Some of those topics are even foreign to other beings, and I think that it would be great to have that balance within the show. Um, yeah, and I because I have become aware that there are people that aren't on the show that saying like, "Oh, I won't want to be on that show because all they do is fight." Right? I think it would be great to have a show where it promotes something harmonious and healthy, so that it can like onset the balance and create this balance of the the like ratchet and the blackness that we need for baddies and bad boys, and also having a show that represents like healing and becoming better and knowing the self. I've also become aware that in previous interviews where Lemuel Plummer was discussing Zeus Network, that he also spoke about past experiences where he wrote certain things for BET and then sold them later on. And I think that, if I'm not mistaken, I think that in the past he was involved in things around spirit, religion with his family, or the spiritual aspect of gospel and things like that. And so I think with Zeus, it was kind of like a, you know, it was kind of like a different route, but this has made him, more successful than when he was just, within the company of black entertainment television. And so I think that it is a tasteful way that it can be done, so that it isn't like this just, oh, this is about Jesus and God and this and that, and more of a marketable experience for those who are aware of spirituality and things like that, because it goes beyond saging the house and wearing crystals and things like that and eating well. Like, granted, that is a very important part of awakening to oneself. I think that it can be marketed very well. And I have noticed that, like, even with Natalie Nunn, like, being the kind of like the host, or the producer of Baddies, Bad Boys, and the other show with Krishan and Blueface, right? I think that this would be a chance that somebody who isn't, like, just known could be, in a position that is similar. Because I am aware that with the positions as, like, the executive producers of those shows, it's more of like a cultured thing. Like, when I say cultured, I mean, like, we know that black people as a culture have this way of being that when people experience us, they perceive us as being a certain way. They expect the experiences of baddies and bad boys. They expect that experience when they say, "Oh, this black person, they're like this." And so I think with a show like Spiritual Baddies, yet again, it is there's a different name that is in thought. I think when they see that show, they would say, "Oh, this is like a shift of perception." And granted, there would be, people of different ethnic backgrounds, because it isn't just tailored to one specific ethnic background. But I'm saying that so that people aren't, just thinking that, oh, it's just tailored to African American people, because no. But now I do understand that, like, with spirituality and religion, some people have this experience of it being about just going to church and things like that. And I think that it could be a deeper experience on a platform that is known to be very, like, ratchet, ghetto. Let's say it. Let's talk about it. Zeus is known to produce the content that is, like, ratchet and ghetto. And so this show, like Spiritual Baddies, or the other name that I have for it, would be a marketable experience that would show this more aware side of spirituality within the show. There are some beings that I have in mind to suggest for the show. I think just it being Zeus Network producing the show, it would bring a lot of wanting participants that are wanting to be on the show. Now I have because there are people like Angela, formerly known as Black China, that have sort of stepped into this space of healing. That it would be great if they could be a part of the show. Maybe not all the time, but it also would be a great idea if somebody like her could be a part of the show. I have noticed that there are some spiritual beings who have spoken about being healers for people who are celebs. So, just even a space where Woe Vicky could be on the show. And then I've noticed that there are some people that are connected to Hollywood that have spoken about not wanting to be on a show like Baddies and Bad Boys and things like that, or Jocelyn's Cabaret. But I know that a show like this would be a space where it could surround itself about healing and becoming in alignment with the true self. There is also some experiences that are becoming more mainstream, like Twin Flames, for example. That was something that just recently dropped on Amazon Prime about Twin Flames, and many people don't know about it. But I think that because it's becoming mainstream, it's something that could be spoken about. And from previous videos, if you haven't watched those videos, I identify with being a psychic medium and the divine feminine within the connection of the twin flame journey with the divine masculine. And so if you haven't watched those other videos, you can watch those other videos, and then if you have more questions, then great. But I think that because there are so many people that don't understand it, it would be great to be in a space where it is being brought to the surface, or allowing others to become aware of the journey. Because a lot of people that are on these journeys of spirituality and things like that, they are perceived as being woo-woo or crazy or whatever. And for a lot of us that are on these different paths, it is very real for us. So I think that it would just be a great idea to be a part of a show that allows this spiritual enlightenment, because it could be a place where people could watch the show and say, oh, I am on a similar journey as this character, or this person that's on the show. There are other men that I even thought about being on the show, and that's what I also want to speak about. It could be a show where there could be an incorporation of men and women being on a single show. Like many people speak about Carry On being as Kirk Franklin's son, and I think that even with him being on Bad Boys, people kind of placed him in this bubble that was connected to his father, Kirk Franklin, instead of allowing him to be within his own space. They connected him to just being, his father's son, and not allowing him to be who he is. And so I think that that could invite the attraction from these other shows until this new show. And I've known that even Mo City was also speaking about involving Christ within his journey, or God within his journey. So I think that it would be a great intertwining from these other shows and bringing it to this this new show. I think that the shows usually have like a 3-month span that they do the filming for the shows or the series, and I think that I have some really great places in mind of where the shows could be filmed at, and there are a lot of places that have these spiritual like experiences where you go there, you have like these just like these like a spiritual reset and just becoming one with yourself. And there are a lot of places like that have I hear like spiritual oasis, like just being very grounded and connected while you're experiencing these certain places. And I think that it would be a very great idea because there are many people who are wanting that type of experience, or that type of, I guess the word I was looking for was scenery, like that type of place where they could brand themselves around a experience that involves their their like place of belief. Like it doesn't alter their morals or beliefs, but it enhances what they believe in or allows them to find a place that connects them to what they believe in. And yeah, so that's the best way that I could explain it at this moment. I do have more thoughts about things that could happen in the show. I think just like more places of where this could take place, and people that would probably be a great addition to the show. Some fresh faces that aren't seen as like big stars, but would bring enough attention to say, oh, I have seen them in this place, and it would be a great marketing idea. So I'm going to research where to pitch this idea to. Of course, I would want to be on the show. Um, I could definitely have the role of being like the uh, the producer of the executive producer of the show. It is my idea. Why not, right? So I was told by the universe to hold on before posting the video, and I was kind of contemplating on whether I should post a video and ignore the signs, but I decided to listen, and it was great that I did because I became aware that there was a video from the baddie herself, T, who posted a video about being in a Christian cult. And a lot of times, as a psychic medium, I receive some type of like intuitive feeling that guides me to something that is going to be put out in the media. And so, although I was receiving this information, this idea for this video has been somewhat lingering since last year, 2022. And so I still want to produce this video, and I'm probably going to paste the link under her video about a Christian cult. So T, if you see this, just know that yeah, it isn't to take any shine away from your video or anything like that. It is to promote this idea. And I think that because she is even posting about this information, that is just more confirmation that it would be a great idea. Because I think that there is a need for this type of information or this type of show to be produced for beings that are or have experienced certain things within their families or religious belief or spiritual beliefs. And so yeah, I think that it would be a very great idea. And I'm not sure where I'm going to post put this particular part within the video, but I think that it would just be a very great idea. Yeah. More than likely, I'm posting this part of the video at the end of the video. So I am grateful to all of the viewers. And if you enjoyed this video, or if you have any information that you could add, like, comment, share, or comment under this particular video. And T, if you're seeing this, hopefully it reaches the CEO of Zeus Network, or Natalie, or anybody that can help produce this information or this show idea. So, yeah.